Right there, listeners, welcome to the first ever deep dive into the beautiful game.
That's right.
We've got a lot to talk about today. It's been a busy week. Lots going on in the world of football.
Absolutely.
We've been looking at all sorts of press conferences, stuff coming out in the newspapers.
Yeah, behind the scenes gossip, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly, the whole 9 yards. And we're going to dive deep into some of the most interesting bits from this last week or so.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Let's crack on then, shall we? What do we want to start with? Right at the top of the agenda, got to be the England camp, new manager, of course.
Thomas Tuchel.
First time he's sort of had the players together, and by all accounts, seems to have been a really upbeat start.
Yeah, really positive.
Everyone seems to be enjoying it,
Yeah, I mean, you look at what some of the players have said. Declan Rice, he used the word amazing to describe the energy around the place.
Right.
And was really impressed with the level of training. Tuchel himself, he talked about seeing many smiles, which suggests a much better atmosphere than maybe they had before.
I mean, even Harry Kane's saying similar things, about the tempo of training, how sharp it is.
Yeah.
That everyone's, getting Tuchel's message loud and clear.
Yeah, he seems to be a very good communicator, doesn't he, Tuchel?
Yeah, but then he goes on to say that, there could be some uncomfortable conversations further down the line, to get the best out of everyone. What do you reckon he means by that?
I think he's making it clear that he's not afraid to, have difficult discussions with players if that's what it takes to improve.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing creating a good atmosphere, which obviously is really important, but you also need to have those honest conversations sometimes to, push people to the next level.
Absolutely. And Jordan Pickford was saying something similar, wasn't he? That, Tuchel gave this really inspirational speech right at the start, setting the bar high, talking about, World Cup qualification. Obviously, that's the big target. And, he just seems to be, laying down the law, but in a good way,
Yeah, Stance seems to be getting his message across really well.
Yeah.
And I think it's important he does that early, particularly with international football, where you only have those players for a limited amount of time.
Right.
You have to make the most of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else was he saying? I think there was something about tactics, wasn't there? That he wants to be a bit more flexible.
Yeah, he wants to play attacking football, but he also wants to be able to adapt to different opponents.
Right.
So, if they're up against a team that sits deep, they'll have to find a way to break them down. If they're up against a team that's more attacking, they'll have to be able to defend properly.
Makes sense. You got to be adaptable in the modern game, don't you? You can't just have one way of playing.
The days of just sticking to 4-4-2 are long gone.
Exactly. He also gave a special mention to Miles Lewis-Skelly, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who made his debut, and he said that,
It's a really good camp.
he had an amazing camp full of confidence and, seems like a really mature lad for such a young player.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real vote of confidence from the manager, isn't it? To single him out like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got talent, but it sounds like he's also got the right attitude, which is just as important.
Yeah, and then you've got Morgan Gibbs-White, who it sounds like is going to be in the squad for the Latvia game. And
yeah, he missed out initially.
He did miss out initially, but then Tuchel said, he's really impressed with his character and how he's responded to that initial disappointment. And, seems like he's
getting another chance.
Going to get another chance. Yeah, good for him.
Shows you what a good attitude can do, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, we can't talk about England without mentioning Dan Burn.
The big man.
The big man. What a story.
What a story.
Getting called up out of the blue.
Yeah, and that FaceTime.
Oh, the FaceTime late at night from Tuchel, and he just couldn't believe it, could he? And I think for him it's extra special because
thought his chance had gone.
He thought his chance had gone.
Yeah.
And he's been overlooked in the past.
Yeah.
And
he's had to work hard for everything he's got, hasn't he?
He has. And fair play to him.
Yeah.
He deserves his chance. And it sounds like he's really going to embrace it, isn't he? He was saying he wants to bring leadership to the team.
Yeah.
Both on and off the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's certainly got the experience for it, hasn't he?
He has. And he was having none of Alan Shearer's retirement talk, was he?
He wants to carry on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Stood on him.
And that thing about being easily overlooked, even though he's about 6'7".
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite funny, wasn't it? Tuchel even made a joke about it as well, so.
Yeah, good to see a bit of humor in the camp.
It is.
It's not all serious business, is it?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Harry Kane was also talking about the differences, wasn't he? Between Tuchel's approach and how Gareth Southgate used to do things.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Tuchel's really big on this counter-pressing thing,
Yeah.
Winning the ball back quickly.
Yeah, basically, as soon as you lose it, you try and win it back straight away, high up the pitch.
Right, yeah.
So you're putting the opposition under pressure all the time.
Yeah, and it sounds like he wants England to be playing higher up the pitch, generally.
More on the front foot.
Yeah, exactly. And Declan Rice was saying similar things as well, wasn't he? That, he's used to playing in a similar way for his club.
Yeah, so the transition should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
For him.
For him, exactly. And he was full of praise for Harry Kane, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Saying what a
Fantastic goal scorer.
fantastic goal scorer he is and what a belief he gives the team.
Yeah.
Which, you can understand that, can't you? I mean, he's
a world-class striker.
Yeah. He's a world-class striker, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, Rice was saying how Tuchel's made a real effort to build relationships with the players.
Yeah.
Talk to them, find out what makes them tick, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that personal touch can go a long way, can't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's quite a nice little anecdote, wasn't it, when he mentioned that his former West Ham teammate, Ryard Zmantrovic, plays for Latvia.
Yeah.
So, there's a chance they might bump into each other during the game and
have a little chat.
Yeah. It's just nice, isn't it? When
yeah, it's a small world, isn't it? International football.
It is, yeah. A little bit of camaraderie.
Yeah.
And the final thing on the England front, Tuchel was clarifying some comments he made about England maybe playing with fear to lose at the Euros.
Yeah.
And he said that he'd sensed a lot of tension and pressure in the camp, and he wants to bring in more hunger and joy to win.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is he wants them to be more positive.
Yeah.
Not worrying about making mistakes, but just going out there and expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Trying to win the game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of England fans would agree with that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they need to be a bit more adventurous in their play.
Exactly right. Let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about Manchester United.
Okay.
Ruben Amorim, their manager's been talking about the fact that they've got this upcoming break.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks, no fixtures. So that must be a
welcome break for them.
Welcome break, yeah, absolutely. Chance for everyone to recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
Get over any niggles, and Amorim can, work with the players on the training pitch.
Yeah, I mean, some of them will be working on fitness, won't they? Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire, Kabi Mamunu.
Right.
And then the others will be resting. And then hopefully they'll all be fresh and ready to go for the next game.
Exactly. And Amorim was saying he expects Manu and Maguire to be back for the Forest game.
Yeah.
And Luke Shaw should be back soon as well. So that's good news.
That's good news. Yeah, definitely some positive news on the injury front.
Yeah.
Amorim also said that he feels like they're starting to see improvements.
Yeah.
In things like, their physicality, their pressing, their chance creation. And he put that down to, just having more time.
Yeah, to work on things.
To work on things on the training pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll continue, and they'll start to see the results.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, absolutely. He was also very complimentary, wasn't he, about young Harry Amass, who made his debut.
Yeah. He was very impressed with him.
He was very impressed. He called him a special kid, didn't he?
Yeah, and he said that he's the best gift the club could ask for.
Wow.
So, high praise indeed.
High praise indeed. Yeah, that's quite something.
And he was really emphasizing, how lucky these young players are to be playing for Manchester United.
Yeah.
To make the most of it, work hard.
Yeah.
Really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Good advice, absolutely. For any young player, really.
Absolutely. And then there's Bruno Fernandes, who, it's fair to say he's played a lot of football recently, but Amorim's not thinking about resting him just yet.
No, he said he's got exceptional recovery powers.
Yeah.
So he can handle it.
He can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good to know. But he was a bit surprised, wasn't he, by Fernandes' reaction when he got substituted?
Yeah, he was a bit frustrated.
He was a bit frustrated.
But Amorim said, it's just because he's got that winning mentality. He wants to play every minute.
He wants to play every minute, and,
You can't fault him for that.
You can't fault him for that.
Can you?
No, not at all, not at all. All right, let's move on to Portugal, shall we? And, Cristiano Ronaldo's been talking, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And never one to shy away from an opinion, is he?
He's certainly not.
He's certainly not. And he was, he'd obviously seen some of the comments about a lack of desire within the Portugal team to always win.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having absolutely none of it, was he?
No, he was.
He was saying, look, we've been playing well.
Yeah.
Apart from one or two games.
Yeah.
We're always trying to win.
And he said the best generations are always the ones that win.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether they've got the best players or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about winning trophies, isn't it?
At the end of the day, yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah. And he was saying that he felt there was a bit of negativity around the team.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't happy with some of the press conferences and some of the questions that have been asked.
Yeah, he said it was a lack of respect.
Yeah, lack of respect. And, he's a big believer, isn't he, in, speaking honestly and directly.
Yeah, he likes to tell it like it is.
He likes to tell it like it is, exactly. And he was saying that, the team's ready for the next match.
Yeah.
And he wants to replicate the discomfort they felt in the Danish stadium when they play at home. He wants to walk off the pitch with his head held high,
Yeah.
whatever the result. But, let's be honest, he wants to win.
Yeah. I mean, he's a winner, isn't he?
He is. He's a winner through and through.
Yeah.
And then there's that thing about Rasmus Højlund doing his SIUU celebration.
Oh, yeah.
And, you could have forgiven Ronaldo for being a bit annoyed about that, but he was very gracious about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said he had no problem with it at all.
Yeah.
And that it was an honor,
Yeah.
as long as it wasn't meant disrespectfully,
Right.
which obviously it wasn't.
No, of course not. And he even said that he hopes to do his own celebration in the next match.
Yeah, so that will be good to see.
That'll be good to see. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Bit of a rivalry developing there.
bit of a rivalry development. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And he finished off by saying, look, the previous game's in the past.
Yeah.
Let's all be positive.
Yeah.
Let's get behind the team.
Yeah.
And he even defended the coach, Roberto Martinez, who'd been getting a bit of criticism.
Yeah. He said he's doing a good job.
And that, just having good players doesn't guarantee you wins.
Well, there's a few interesting things going on there. Robbie Fowler's been talking. And he didn't hold back, did he? He said it would be an unbelievably catastrophic development if Liverpool don't win the Premier League.
Yeah, big statement.
Big statement.
Yeah.
He's clearly putting a lot of faith in Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot.
Yeah, well, they've had a good team, haven't they? Liverpool.
They've got a really good team, but there's also a lot of competition at the top, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close race.
It is. Fowler also expressed some concerns about the contract situations of a few key players.
Yeah. Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, and Salah.
Yeah.
All getting towards the end of their contracts.
Yeah, and that could be huge, couldn't it? If
They're potentially massive.
if they lose those players.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're all world-class players.
they are so. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, big decisions to be made.
Big decisions to be made, absolutely. And while he said he hopes they all stay, he also acknowledged that players move on sometimes.
Yeah, and he said no one's bigger than the football club.
Yeah, and it's true, isn't it?
It is, it is.
Clubs come and go, players come and go.
Clubs stay forever.
Clubs stay forever, exactly. Fowler also had some pretty strong words about a recent Liverpool performance, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't impressed.
He wasn't impressed. He said they weren't at the races.
Yeah, he said only Van Dijk really turned up.
Right.
He thought Newcastle were the bitter team.
Yeah, and that the 2-1 scoreline flattered Liverpool.
Yeah, so not a good day at the office.
Not a good day at the office, no. He even suggested that their attack isn't quite the same as it used to be.
Yeah, maybe they're missing Mané a bit.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the rumors that just won't go away about Trent Alexander-Arnold
Yeah.
and a potential move to Real Madrid.
Yeah, big move.
Big move, and potentially on a free transfer as well in the summer.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's, the natural next step for him.
Yeah, Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Exactly.
And they've got a history of signing top players.
They have, yeah. And you can see why it would be tempting for him, can't you? I mean,
Champions League football every season.
exactly, playing with some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And it would give Real Madrid this, real attacking threat.
Yeah, from fullback.
At fullback, yeah.
Yeah, they've been lacking that a little bit, haven't they, since Marcelo left?
Yeah, and some people are even comparing him to David Beckham in terms of the quality of his delivery.
Wow.
Yeah, so
No praise.
high praise indeed.
Yeah.
And, defensively he has improved, hasn't he?
He has.
But it's still maybe an area where he's
Still got a bit of work to do.
still got a bit of work to do. And, Real Madrid have got this recent history of getting top players
Yeah.
on free transfers, haven't they?
Yeah.
They like a bargain.
They do. They do. So, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I think it could happen.
Yeah, the big question for Liverpool is
How do you replace him?
how do you replace him?
Yeah, he's such a key player.
He is. He is. So, yeah, that's That's going to be a tough one for them if it does happen.
Absolutely.
Sadly, all this transfer speculation has been overshadowed a bit by some pretty horrible racial abuse directed at Alexander-Arnold online. And I think we all agree that's just disgusting. There's no place for it in the game.
Absolutely not.
Or anywhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, we condemn that in the strongest possible terms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Let's finish off, shall we, with Sol Campbell.
Okay.
Who's been reminiscing about his career and talked about that goal he scored against Manchester United.
Oh yeah.
And of course that controversial move from Tottenham to Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he talked about, the difference in ambition between the two clubs. And he felt that there was this sort of
lack of a winning mentality. Lack of a winning mentality at Tottenham at the time, and a lack of support.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what led him to leave.
Yeah.
And he didn't hold back, did he, when he was talking about
former teammates?
Some of his former teammates? No, he certainly didn't. So
strong words.
Strong words, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's Sol Campbell, isn't it?
That is Sol Campbell. He always speaks his mind.
He does.
He also talked about, the pressure of playing for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And how he had to prove his fitness to Arsene Wenger after an injury.
Yeah.
Through these really intense one-on-one training sessions.
Yeah, sounds tough.
Sounds tough. Yeah, but, shows his determination, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
To get back to the top.
Yeah.
And looking back on his England career, he felt that, they always came up a bit short in the big tournaments.
Yeah.
He talked about refereeing decisions, moments of bad luck.
Yeah.
And while he obviously, loved playing for his country, he said it's a shame they couldn't reach a final.
Yeah, so close, but so far.
So close, but so far. And he even brought up that disallowed goal against Argentina.
Oh, yeah, the one that would probably be given now.
That would probably be given now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's funny how those little moments can change history, isn't it?
It is. It is, yeah, absolutely right. Well, there you have it. Another week in the world of football.
Another week, another roller coaster.
Another roller coaster. Exactly.
That's it.
We've had everything, haven't we? Managerial changes.
Yeah.
Surprise call-ups.
Yeah.
Contract disputes.
Controversial transfers.
Controversial transfers.
Yeah.
Big opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what stood out for you?
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing is the change in atmosphere around the England camp.
Yeah.
It just seems so much more positive now with Tuchel in charge.
Yeah.
And I think that could be massive for them.
Yeah, I agree. What about you? Anything else that grabbed your attention?
Well, I think the Alexander-Arnold situation is really interesting. If he does go to Real Madrid, that's going to be a huge loss for Liverpool. And it's going to be fascinating to see how they replace him.
Absolutely. And what about those Ronaldo comments? I mean...
Yeah, he's never afraid to speak his mind, is he?
He's not. He's not. But I think a lot of what he said was fair enough.
Yeah, I think so too. He wants to win.
He's passionate about his country.
Exactly.
And he wants them to do well.
And what about Sol Campbell's reflections? I mean,
yeah. Always interesting to hear from him, isn't it?
It is, yeah, always thought-provoking.
Yeah. Well, this is just the start of the conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, there's always more to discuss.
There's always more to discuss. And, maybe some of you listening are now thinking, I want to go back and listen to those press conferences myself.
Yeah.
Or I want to find out more about the history of transfers between rival clubs.
Yeah, there's so much information out there.
There is. And that's the beauty of football, isn't it? There's always something new to discover.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, here's something for you to think about.
In a sport that's so full of emotion and loyalty, how much does the modern game force players and fans to constantly rethink those concepts?
Good question.
Yeah. I mean, you look at a situation like Alexander-Arnold's.
Yeah.
He's a local lad. He's come through the ranks at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But if he does go to Real Madrid, can you really blame him?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I think it's something that we're going to see more and more of in the future.
Yeah.
Players moving between clubs that, you wouldn't have thought possible in the past.
Yeah, the loyalty's not quite what it used to be.
It's not, yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how that develops.
Yeah.
In the years to come.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us for this first deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
It has. We'll be back next week with another look at the world of football.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.